So, and again, by the way, Scott's out of town, stuck because of this snowy weather we've got here. So I'm stepping in for him. So I'm going to go off of his notes and agenda, if you don't mind. But you've launched some really neat new features
Yeah.
since we last
Yeah,
heard
so
from you.
so over the summer we touched up our dual pricing, and I know some people on here I think that had asked about this last time. Hey, in terms of dual pricing, um, there was kind of maybe some gray areas there, and we touched up them all over the summer. Our developers did a great job. So now we have fully compliant dual pricing. Everywhere the customer looks in that checkout screen, guys, you will see a card and ACH price or a card and cash price, whether it's the view and pay, whether it's the checkout screen. If they click on the PDF of the invoice, every single line item will have a card and ACH price. So completely compliant dual pricing, no issues there with the card brands. We were working with them when we launched this, and really, shout out to our developers that got this out there. It took a lot of work. So everyone can feel comfortable, when they're selling dual pricing with Biller Genie. We have that available to you guys. We launched that during the summer. Also during the summer, while we're going through the outline here, we launched the Biller Genie mobile app. We launched the Biller Genie mobile app, and let me show you a couple of quick screenshots of that um, as well. Let me see if I share my screen here. So you just think about it. We have a lot of merchants on the go, right? We're dealing with QuickBooks invoicing merchants. Okay, so they're on the go, they're in the field. Well, now, right from their cell phone, they just finished the AC repair. They added the Freon, they did their checkup. Hey, while I'm loading up the truck, why don't you scan this QR code, Mr. Customer? It'll take you right to the checkout screen. It'll give you your dual pricing checkout screen. Or I'll text you the invoice and it'll take you right to the checkout screen. Or you can accept a payment, right? So a more mobile friendly version of Biller Genie out in the field. Before they would have to rely on their web browser. They could still do some of these things, but you're pinching the screen, you're turning it sideways, stuff like that. Now we have a Biller Genie mobile app. I really like the QR code. I really like the texting. So again, a lot of merchants on the go in the field, a more mobile friendly version of Biller Genie. We launched this summer as well. And just to kind of give you a couple of those screenshots of the dual pricing checkout screens. So this would be like a nice branded invoice that the customer received. And you see right here, you got the card and ACH price. They click view and pay. They go to the checkout screen. You got the card and ACH price. If they clicked on the actual PDF of the invoice, as I mentioned earlier, they would 16 different line items. Every line item would have that card and ACH price depending on what the price of that item is. So again, really, really well done. A couple of the two new features that we launched there over the summer. Biller Genie Mobile, compliant dual pricing. And keep in mind, now most of you guys gravitate towards dual pricing. We also have compliance surcharging available through Biller Genie as well. If that's in play and you guys want to use that.
Awesome, awesome. So I think you also kind of did a refresh with the way this B2B level two, three, level two's going away and three is
Yes.
kind of right being recombobulated. And I'm thinking about it because you talked about 16 line items, each
Yeah.
dual priced. Tell us how that helps the level three
Well,
qualification.
well, level three, and what's interesting about level three is since we do a lot of dual pricing, try saying that fast. Since we do a lot of dual pricing, the merchant themselves is at a flat rate of, let's just whatever you guys set it to, 3.5%, 4%. But still having level three in play, even the merchant's not getting any benefit to that. What does it do for you guys? It still lowers the floor of that actual interchange, right? So it still creates more margin for you guys, even if, because a lot of times you're not really selling level three in most cases to merchants. It's not as in play as often as one might think. However, we still have it. We were ready for October 17th. Think about it. We have all the line item. That's when they made all those vamp and those level three changes. So we have all the line item data from the invoice. We get the commodity code from you guys, And level three is in play. Like we've been good to go. We were prepared for that. So and level two is kind of going away. But for your level three stuff, we still have that available. We were ready. No more spoofing the data like everyone was doing before. I don't know what the others are doing, but we have that level three in play for you guys. So that's business as usual. Um, but we did not lose that. We did not lose that.
So let me backtrack again for a second. Maybe we started fast out of the gate, but you
Yeah.
have two flavors of Biller Genie, right?
Yeah.
And I tee that up because those new features you talked about, the dual price, the app, and the level three, and that little ancillary surcharge,
Yeah.
aren't
All
they?
included in Biller Genie plugin pricing of 24.95. So if you just need a really robust invoicing tool, right? You need the level three, you need the dual pricing, you want auto pay, all right? Parent, subchild customer, that kind of thing. All included in our plugin plan of 24.95, no additional fees, no contract. Okay. Now for the first 30 days, they get a premium trial. All right. And this is really about 40% of our customer guys upgrade to premium. They opt in, click a button, they go through the training with our team. All right. And they upgrade to premium. Why? Typically, it's because of two features. Two of the main ones, the customer portal and reminders. All right. And we might get into some screen share here. I have the stats to prove it. But in the United States, it takes 47 days to pay an invoice on average. It's called daily sales outstanding, DSO. The average Biller Genie account gets paid in 8 days. Okay, when you average in our entire portfolio, that's plug-in and premium. But a lot of that is people don't pay on time. The national average is 47 days. So what are you going to do? Is that merchant going to call on past due invoices? Are they going to pay an employee $25 an hour? A payroll expense? Maybe that's just 1 hour a day, but 5 hours per week, 20 business days in a month. Well, that $25 payroll expense, that starts to add up. Are you just going to let Biller Genie automate all those reminders? We have it built out better than anyone else out there. Like customized messaging as the invoice continues to age, getting more and more aggressive. However, the merchant wants to set it up, turn it on and off on a per customer level. Our reminders help people get paid faster. That's one of the main reasons people upgrade to premium. And the other one would be the customer portal. You guys have a lot of regular customers for years and years. The merchants have a lot of regular customers for years and years. So wouldn't they like to have a place to log in? Well, QuickBooks doesn't have one. They can view all their open invoices. They can view all their paid invoices historical, all their historical data, excuse me. So the customer portal is a big hit. Those would be what I always say the headlining premium features. The two main reasons typically they upgrade to premium. There's a couple other ancillary ones like a custom email domain. We can automate late fees as well, but those kind of go hand in hand. They're nice to haves, but what I really typically want is that customer portal, the reminders, and they have to opt in and upgrade to premium at 69.95 plus a 0.5%. Think about that, guys. 69.95 plus 50 basis points. They opt in, they'll gladly take it. Half the time they don't even ask what the pricing is. They just know what goes on behind the curtain at their business, and they know they need that stuff, right? But there's never a contract, and they have to opt in. And our trainers show them what those features are that are available when you bring a merchant on board. But
And
that's about the split. 60% stay on the plugin, about 40% upgrade to that premium program.
so I like the way you called that add-on like an AR specialist that doesn't have a payroll check, right?
Yeah, I think, there's other competition, other products out there. And I think if you just Google like Biller Genie verse, pick the name, right? I know a lot of you guys work with some others. I think you can get away with, a nice dual pricing, sync back, whether it's our plugin plan or somebody else's. When you're dealing with those high volume merchants, the ones you guys are going to want to sign that need an additional arm for an accounts receivable, another like employee basically, that's where Biller Genie separates itself, in my opinion, from what you're seeing out there. Yeah.
So while you bring that up, can you go into like maybe what the QuickBooks universe looks like in the US, right? What is the
Yeah,
saturation, right?
and allow me to screen share. I'm not going to screen. I want to make this more interactive, like interview, like an interview style. But allow me to screen share a couple of these because I just think it's super impactful when you actually see it. And it's just wild what's out there. And like as you said, I love how you put that, John, the QuickBooks universe. Like there's 32 million SMBs in the United States. Okay? If they choose an accounting software in the SMB market, 83% of the time they choose QuickBooks. Okay? QuickBooks dominates the market share. We're going after, for the purposes of Biller Genie, the 55% of those that are using QuickBooks and invoicing their customers for payment. Those are the two qualifying questions. Okay? That leaves us with 14.5 million QuickBooks invoicing merchants in the United States. And guys, this is a greenfield play. All right. We're not going to pick on the other solutions that have been out there the last 20 years that I've been in this space. And a lot of you guys have been doing this a long time. Right. But the fact is, a lot of times we had to walk away from the deal. We had to sell around it. Hey, let's put a virtual terminal over here. I'll save you a bunch of money. QuickBooks Desktop's 3.5%. I'll drop you to 3% and save you 50 basis points on that $100,000. That's $5,000 a month. Oh no, it's not going to talk back to your QuickBooks at all, right? But let's focus on the 5,000. And there's a lot of good salespeople on here that could sell like that, right? Now we have an integrated solution, all right, that'll connect all of the dots. They create I think John will go through it right now. How does this work? Well, they create the invoicing QuickBooks. We're embracing QuickBooks. We're not selling around it. Mr. Merchant, create the invoicing QuickBooks and hit save. Business as usual. Biller Genie will pick up the invoice, store it in Biller Genie, automatically email it out to the customer. The customer clicks view and pay. It takes them to a checkout screen. After the invoice is paid, it automatically reconciles back to QuickBooks, marks that invoice as paid. All right. We got a lot of other bells and whistles, but those four steps at a high level are what we do really well. We're not selling around QuickBooks anymore. We're embracing it. You got QuickBooks, you have invoicing, great. Create the invoice, hit save. Biller Genie picks it up, grabs it, sends it out. You guys hook them up with a better merchant service program, dual pricing. QuickBooks does not have dual pricing, guys. You're not compete. Think about that. Dual pricing is all the rage in payments. You guys know that. They have no way of doing it in an automated fashion in QuickBooks. It's like, hey, Mr. Customer, are you paying by credit card? Oh, you are? Okay, I'm going to go back into your invoice. I'm going to add a line item for 3.5% and resend it out to you. You know, that's not compliant, number one. And number two, that is obviously a dual entry, manual, time-consuming process. Biller Genie, toggle of a button, flip of a switch. The ball's in the customer's court. You have dual pricing available. It's a home run. So what are we really doing? Biller Genie is going to reduce that 47 days daily sales outstanding, save the merchant time, money, get them paid faster. You guys are going to hook them up with a better merchant service program. They will gladly save money. The issue with QuickBooks has never been the merchant not knowing they're paying high rates on credit card and ACH. They know that. They want to make sure that they're not going to take longer to collect money and you're not going to mess with their accounts receivable process. And we're going to turbocharge that based on our 8 days daily sales outstanding to pay an invoice.
So, Hank, you say QuickBooks, right?
Mhm.
And many of us now know that certain, QuickBooks Online is the only flavor that's supported, but
Oh,
you
yeah.
you support a number of those, and I think that's actually a competitive advantage in
Yes.
some cases,
Great
right?
call, John. Yes. QuickBooks Desktop, although you might only see that these days, maybe 80% online, 20% desktop. Here's the lay of the land. Biller Genie still has a QuickBooks desktop integration. We built our own thing. You can't rely on the sync managers anymore to sync the QuickBooks desktop. They just don't really work. And that's why nobody has a QuickBooks desktop integration. We built our own. It's called Biller Genie Magic Carpet. And why that's important for you guys is there's a specific QuickBooks Desktop Enterprise, QBD Enterprise. All right. And those guys are where the highest volume merchants of all the QuickBooks land are, right? And they're not moving over to QuickBooks Online. They're staying on QuickBooks Desktop until you turn the lights off, right? Now QuickBooks has raised pricing on desktop. They've stopped servicing it. They don't care. Desktop enterprise, there's just stuff in different screens. There's inventory management that they tell us that, hey, QuickBooks Online just doesn't have it yet. I'm not moving over there. And so again, it might only be maybe one out of every three or one out of every four of those QuickBooks merchants that you see. But when you see desktop, specifically QuickBooks Desktop Enterprise, you're probably dealing with a big player, and Biller Genie's got you covered for that demo. All right, you get them to a demo, we'll help you close it. You can close it on your own, close it. But we got you covered on QuickBooks Online, QuickBooks Desktop, as well as Xero, Xero. Xero is like the QuickBooks of Europe. They're the major player in Europe. Starting to get more traction here in the United States. Billie Jean has integration to Xero as well. All right, so online, desktop, Xero, and standalone. We got this question, John, right? Two, three times last week. All right, let's just say QuickBooks is out of play. They're not in the picture. Bill Genie can still be the best, most robust standalone invoicing tool. The only difference in all the features and functionality is you're now creating the invoice in Bill Genie rather than creating it in QuickBooks. All right. So standalone as well. We got that one quite a bit. Yeah,
or
that
on your
question
new
last week.
app, on your new app.
Or and the app. Right, on the app.
So
Um,
you mentioned that the other too, which I never thought about it, but instead of like a field service tech,
yeah.
writing it up, turning it into the office, maybe they get to it the next day, all that delay again versus like I know how many pounds of Freon I put in, or
Yeah.
I mean, just so it's
Comes down to
all
how much power if that owner, let's just say the owner, right? If that owner wants to empower their field techs, we got you covered. If you still want them to like call back to the home office to create the QuickBooks invoice over there, you do you, right? Like we could try to push these things on them. Regardless, any scenario now, we got you covered. You want to take a payment in the field, you can take them to the checkout screen. You can create, not to get too far in the weeds, but you can create a sales receipt, which is basically like you don't have an invoice yet. You just build it right there and it'll sync back to QuickBooks associated with a customer and create an invoice over there. Um, but yeah, we got you covered on standalone. And one other scenario while we're on this topic, guys, let's say you guys are going to run into this question's if it's not in the chat, I see a lot of questions fired off there. House Call Pro, Service Titan, Jobber, okay? Those three major players, let's just take those three. They can sync their invoice to QuickBooks. All right. And we're in play. That's the qualifying question. Is a merchant willing to play ball and do that? Because we know those three specifically can do it. We've got a lot of merchants creating the invoice in Service Titan, syncing it to QuickBooks. And then what does Bill or Genie do? We're pick it up, grab it, and send it out and do our thing. We need an invoice created in QuickBooks manually or third-party ISV. Just think it. I ran into one the other day, guys. It was a ice distributor, an ice manufacturer. Now we don't need ice in this country right now; it's frozen everywhere. But you know what I mean. Like you're transporting giant blocks of ice. I guess they even had their own ISV. All right, and the same thing. The qualifying question is universal. Will you sync your invoice to QuickBooks? And if so, Bill or Genie's in play. We'll pick it up, grab it, and send it out. So you're not shut out by that field service ISV, guys. I asked my team a couple of weeks ago, hey, I'm selling this on the front end. Do you guys really have a lot of Jobber, House Call Pro, Service Titan merchants? And they say yes, and it works fine. They can sync their invoice. I said, all right, we'll sell it. All right, we'll sell it. Because those are the people in the trenches that are actually doing the trainings when the merchant comes on board. You got to connect all this stuff, right? So I wanted to touch on that as well, John. The third
But
party
you've
softwares.
kind of created a nice segue though, and that is, what are those good fit verticals, maybe
Yeah.
not so good fit verticals,
Yeah.
right? So I like the where you're going with that is,
Yeah.
adjusting the knobs for maximum volume.
Well, let's see. Usually we get in the chat. The chat's all hot and heavy, so I'll just flip to my actual screen here, right? I usually prompt you guys and ask you guys, hey, who are the best type of merchants to go after, right? And I would say when you look at these left two columns right here, guys, all right, when you look at these left two columns, let me expand this for you. When we look at these left two columns, when you talk about anything around the house, that's what I always say. All right, I'm getting my kitchen remodeled, my closetry done, a tree removed in my front yard, a fence built around my house, right? Lawn, pool, pesticide, heating and air conditioning, HVAC, tile, flooring, roofing, plumbers, electricians. There's a lot of stuff on here. Like I don't even have fencing listed here. I have a guy, 2 demos per week, steady. It's always fencing. He is the fencing guy. He goes to Fence Tech in Salt Lake City. He's in all the LinkedIn, Facebook groups. He's not a master of every one of these verticals. He's the fencing guy and he's crushing it. He's absolutely crushing it. So, but any of these home maintenance construction, the largest concentration of our book of business at Biller Genie is in these first two columns because there's so many of them. There's just so many of them out there. Now, the manufacturers, logistics, suppliers, remember you talked about that QuickBooks Desktop Enterprise. A lot of those guys live over here. And think about it. The roofer themselves, a good fit for Biller Genie as a merchant, but also that manufacturer of the shingles sending them to the roofer. It's a whole ecosystem here of QuickBooks invoicing merchants. And I use that shingle as an example because last year when we had the hurricanes come through, I'm in Tampa. We got hit up pretty good. So everyone had roof damage, complete roof damage, or at least shingles, and there was a backup on shingles. So I guarantee as soon as that manufacturer had them ready, they were invoicing the roofer themselves and they were getting them out to us, the customer, right? So a whole ecosystem here of QuickBooks users. And then you talk about this professional services, law firms, marketing firms, printing and promotional. But those CPAs and accountants, guys, why do we love CPAs and accountants maybe more than any other merchant? Why? Put it in the chat. Why do we love them? John, don't you jump at it yet. Why do we love it? Why do we love CPAs and accountants? Referrals. Nailed it. Good job. Albert, yes, yes, yes. Who else we had there? Dora, good work. Excellent. Yeah, think about it, guys. I want that CPA or accountant. Yeah, we want to sign that one deal, but that's the smaller play. I want that to become a referral partner for you. And we want to, usually on a demo, we stick just to what the merchant says they need. You got a closed sale. We keep our mouth shut. You go sign them up. CPAs and accountants are a little bit different. They can handle it. We want them to see like everything we have, everything in plug and premium, every feature. We want them thinking, oh, John the landscaper really wanted dual pricing. Susan needed auto pay on her recurring billing. You know what I mean? And with the pest control company or whatever it is. I've seen it happen a bunch of times where one deal turns into 15, 20, 30 accounts for you guys. All right. And those CPAs and accountants line them up. They're great for that. Yeah, so these are the target markets we're going after. And look, the more volume, the merrier, guys. That's what I say. Card not present, QuickBooks invoicing merchants, right? 50K or more. That's not to say we can't do a $25,000 merchant, right? An average ticket of $500, $25,000 merchant. That's 50 invoices per month. But where we are not as effective is if they're not invoicing that much, right? So the more invoicing, the more volume, the more repetitions of doing manual stuff that these merchants are doing, that's more time, money that we're going to save them. All right. If they got a lot of customers, everyone is going to have an improved customer experience. Right. So that should be music to your ears. Right. The more volume, that means the more residuals typically. Right. So those are the best fits for Biller Genie. That's the best fit. The more invoicing,
Perfect.
the more volume.
So this seems like it might be a good break point to open up. And anybody who's put something in the chat or wants to come off of mute and ask questions, now would be a great time. We've thrown a lot your way, but I think there's a lot here.
I got a
Chuck,
question.
you've been on that chat? Okay. Yeah.
Do you guys have I have a merchant that just hit me up yesterday that this will work perfectly for. However, he's super busy in and out of meetings, and I checked Navigo, and we don't have a good one pager that describes what Biller Genie is. We have here's a comparison of plans, here's what surcharging is, but that's putting the cart before the horse. We need something before we give them that stuff, something like a one
Yeah.
pager where they can understand what you guys are, and that's something I need to
John,
be
it's a
able to
good.
send.
Yeah, no, Chad, in our partner portal, we have a QRG, right? A quick reference guide. Are you using QuickBooks? Are you invoicing? Like that kind of thing. We have a quick reference guide. It's just like what Biller Genie does. And we also have a 2 minute, what I call an elevator pitch video of Biller Genie. This
Perfect.
is what we do. I have a 2 minute recorded video. By the way, I have a 23 minute as well. If a merchant's going to sit for 23 minutes, just get him to a live merchant demo webinar or one-on-one. We'll demo it for him, right? But I love the 2 minute elevator pitch of what Biller Genie does. I have a video for you. We just got to get you in the
Yeah.
partner portal. It's in
So,
there.
so Hank and
Okay, how can
Chad,
I?
Hank and Chad, you'll both love this. In our new Genie app, under Biller Genie, is that short video and the 23-minute video
Attaboy.
linked
Beautiful.
link
Awesome.
down in
Yes.
there. So
Get in there
we
right
got,
now
Chad,
and
I
grab it.
remember you from the dual pricing discussion we had a couple years back. We got you, man.
Yeah,
We got you
yeah,
covered. Yeah, yeah. I didn't
yeah.
forget. I saw you around here. Yeah,
Awesome. Thanks, man.
you got it.
awesome. What else does everybody have for us?
I do want to pitch in. I mean, hey, just flowers to Biller Genie because their support team, their onboarding team. I mean, they take literally your merchant like a 5-year-old by the hand, boarding process, demo. I mean, they CC you on everything just to be in top of all the emails back and forth. But I mean, they do it. They do it all. I have accountants on Biller Genie. I have Grapeful services with Biller Genie. They used to work with FreshBooks. I got them off FreshBooks. They love how Biller Genie integrates with QuickBooks. So yeah, thanks Hank for all
Albert,
your help.
I appreciate, you've been there with us for a while. I appreciate the support. And and again, I think yes, features, what I talked about earlier, I think what separates Biller Genie from the pack there, especially when you get to the ones that are going to need, the premium stuff. Um, but we've really worked on the processes and just from the pre-sale demo, from partner trainings like this, just getting out to you guys, right? And then if you guys can close it, great. If not, I have two guys, Steven and Lemuel, on the front end. If you get them on the daily merchant demo webinar or a one-on-one, it's the same guys. They're fantastic. They know this, they know it inside out. They have kind of a salesy feel to them, right? It's exactly what you guys are want. Like you get a qualified merchant there, they will close the deal for you. You just get us set up the gateway and sign the merchant up. And it's that easy. And then when they get on board, we are holding their hand, screen sharing during training, making sure they get activated, which is what we all need, right? There's a whole maturation process we're doing behind the scenes. And you guys can join any of the Zoom meetings. They're all in your partner portal if you want to join them, but you don't have to. Like we got you. You guys are doing the heavy lifting, writing a deal, setting up a gateway, and you're finding the merchants. And I don't want to stick our chest out too much here, but like over the last 2 years, we were Inc. 5000 back to back, fastest growing companies in the United States. We're going to be a three-peat winner this year. We just opened an office about 8 months ago in Belfast, Ireland. All right. It's like the Silicon Valley of Europe. All these guys are doing is developers, engineers, they're employees of Biller Genie. All right. And they're just going to get features, functionality, stuff we want out to you guys quicker and quicker. And then we just did a ribbon cutting there in Orlando, a new 15,000 square foot office that we just went into. We had the mayor of Orlando, we had partners there, we had a lot of media. And I'm telling you guys this because we're completely partner driven. We don't have an inside sales team. We're not competing against you guys. And if you guys don't like us and submit us business, we don't grow like that. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. So again, thank you for having me on. But that's really all this growth is due to partners like you guys supporting the product and frankly having a need for it, and kind of sick of what else was out there throughout these last how many years in the QuickBooks market in terms of integrations.
Yeah. I see Dora has a hand up.
Yeah, hi guys. I have a question about the mobile app. Can they have multiple field technicians using the mobile app in the field on one account, or do they have to have individual accounts?
Yes. Yes, they can. Multiple, anybody can
Unlimited?
download the app. As many users as they want can have uh, first of all access to the normal dashboard and then also the mobile app.
Awesome.
Yes.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Chuck, did we get everything in the chat? I see you're nailing it. There you go. Yeah. We got okay.
Yeah,
Um,
we did. Only the one I missed was that last one from Dora, so I apologize.
multiple
You know,
fields.
and
Okay, cool.
that's interesting to me because some of our other, handheld mobile products charge per additional user. So the fact that you
Oh,
deploy
yeah.
as many as you want, as many techs as you have at no extra charge, that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the one thing too here is like, we talk about the qualifying questions. Are you using QuickBooks and are you invoicing? Right? But what problems are the merchants having? If you ever just ask a merchant, how do you collect your money? You'll just walk into layups all day long. Like, Oh, we're still only stuffing envelopes and sending out paper mail. All right, through you're relying on the mail service. And then what's great about that? Sometimes you get that, hey, fill out your complete credit card information and then mail it back to us with the CVV code and the expiration. How many guys have gotten? I get one of those a month, I think, right? Or we are using electronic invoicing, but we're turning off the payment module. So there's no way to actually pay electronically, but I'm getting an electronic invoice. I got to call up the merchant and ask how I'm going to pay this bill. I remember James Shepard a few years back when we launched with this. He literally was going through that experience. A tree removal in a strong yard. He was calling the merchant. How do I pay you for this? Like that kind of stuff is going out here all the time, right? And a lot of times it's just that's always how they've done it. They've been doing it like that for years and years. They don't want to pay 3% for QuickBooks Online, 3.5% for QuickBooks Desktop credit card. They don't want to pay 1% for QuickBooks ACH. Guys, they're getting hammered. They have no way to do the dual pricing. They don't have any way of doing it, right? So that's where you guys come in on the pricing standpoint and just clean it up, right? What about that dual entry manual reconciliation? Hey, a good sales guy went in there, saved them 50 basis points on $100,000. It's not talking back to QuickBooks. Now, when you guys walk in there, you're like, oh, yeah, yeah, I'll match Chad's pricing. No, 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 no problem. But now I'm going to connect all the dots. All right. So he's got you priced there. Well, now you're not going to have to do the dual entry manual reconciliation on the back end, right? I'm not worried about the pricing. Now I have the accounts receivable piece for you. And it's not just about saving the money. So if you guys have anything like that standalone kind of stuff currently in your portfolio, protect it into integrate Biller Genie. And if you see it out there, pounce on it. Do exactly what I just said. Oh yeah, whatever pricing. Oh, I'll dual pricing on that. And now I'm going to connect all the dots. I have this Biller Genie that can just connect all the dots, reduce the dual entry, the manual reconciliation on that.
So Hank, let's go into the weeds a little bit. Tell me
Yeah.
about, you kind of alluded to the bank statement reconciliation. What does it look like to the person who's not integrated versus the person who's using Biller?
Well, you're doing one of two things. If I want to get free ACH from my bank, you can, but every one of those ACHs or every one of those paper checks that I just deposited at the bank, I got to go back to the truth, right? The truth is in the accounting software. I have to manually then reconcile it myself. So try doing that 50, 100 times per month. And then the payment came in from 60 days ago and I got to go back 60 days. There's no electronic touch, right? There's no electronic touch. So when we talk about this standalone stuff, a lot of merchants are doing this. Aunt Sally every morning gets the mail. She's got her letter opener. She gets the checks every morning, goes to the bank. That's how we've been doing it for 30 years. And then goes back into her QuickBooks after she deposits it and marks it as paid. That's not efficient. That is not optimizing how quickly a merchant can be getting paid by sending out the invoice, adding dual pricing. They don't want to, you know, they want their Sky Miles reward points. Great. We're charging you 4% or 3.5%, whatever you set it to. If not, no problem. ACH, no additional fees to you as the merchant. If they don't want to get set up by ACH, they can mail in a check, drop off cash, but that's the option we give them and then automatically reconciles to their QuickBooks, marks the invoices paid, right? We're optimizing cash flow here. All right. Most businesses fail not because of their business plan or the idea they have. A lot of times it's just because of cash flow.
And say that again, you were at 47 days down to 8.
The national average, you can look this up. It's between 43 and 49 days. We had at that statistic, I think we took that off B2B payments a couple of years ago. It's 47 days. And across our entire portfolio, we actually that slide used to say 9 days, but now we're down to 8 days. So when you average it all together, how quickly does a Biller Genie merchant get paid? 8 days daily sales outstanding. And that's with the plug-in and premium plan all together there. Yeah.
Right, right. Well, and you got me thinking about this cost of labor again, but all of a sudden my brain is going to this person
Yeah.
sticking, what is a stamp now? 75 cents, something like that?
Yeah.
In a paper
Yeah.
envelope, printing an invoice with using up toner, folding it.
Yeah.
Think about the resources that could be like more valuably repurposed, right?
And by the way, and this is again, we're getting into the weeds. If they still want to do that, guess what Biller Genie can do? We can
Right.
automate paper mail. we can stuff the envelopes for them. So I've run in this scenario too. This is a premium feature. I think we charge them like 250 per envelope or something like that. We sell it because some people want to do both. They want to electronically invoice. Okay, cool. But also, you're stuffing envelopes as well. They're doing both, right? So we have a fulfillment center and we can actually automate paper mail. You might run into a recycling company or a water company or something that does still need it, and there actually is a use case for it. We got you covered, and we can automate everything. We can do that actually in the back end if needed. Paper mail.
That's really
Yeah,
cool. Really cool.
yeah,
So
yeah,
a couple things. You mentioned your team that does demos and that type of thing.
yeah.
What are those key pieces of information we should be asking or collecting before either submitted when we request the demo or bring to the demo?
Yeah, let's start with the two main qualifications. We got to have QuickBooks and we have to have Invoice. Okay, we don't have to have QuickBooks. We can be standalone. Let's be clear. But QuickBooks, online or desktop,
Or enterprise?
and invoicing. That's qualifying question number two, and invoicing. And why we don't necessarily we don't need to know if it's online or desktop right away. But I think for you guys, from a competitive advantage, QuickBooks Online is 3%. QuickBooks Desktop's 3.5%. That's universal pricing. Every once in a blue moon, you'll get a huge merchant that will actually have special credit card pricing. You see it once in a while, but it's not like what we're used to where everyone has different rates. They put their pricing right on the website. Go to QuickBooks pricing. It's right on their website. All right. So I think that's good to know. Gives you an extra maybe 50 basis points to play around with. You know what I mean? Knowing it's 3% for credit card on online, 3.5 for desktop. But the qualifying questions, if you can get deeper into that, QuickBooks invoicing, how many invoices per month are you doing, and how much volume per month are you doing? What forms of payment are you currently accepting? Credit card, ACH, just credit card, just ACH? I think that's just the basic questions, and the more you can get, the better. But if we're using QuickBooks card not present in invoicing, we're in good shape. We should be in good shape.
Yeah, awesome. Awesome. So you almost started touching on overcoming objectives. We've actually talked a lot about
Yeah.
features. But
Yeah.
what objections? I mean, you say, I'm not going to give up sending out paper envelopes. So you can
Yeah.
address that.
Well,
What other objections could we put,
I'd be interested to hear what some of the ones that you guys have, but I can think of one like, hey, I'm using QuickBooks Online. Everything's sort of on auto pay, right? They're actually using it properly. Like every once in a while, you do run into a merchant that's using QuickBooks invoicing online. There's a lot of auto pay. Um, maybe in their process, there's not too much we can help them out with, and maybe sometimes it just comes into, I'm going to save you money. That's not typically the sale here. It's not like our claim to fame is that accounts receivable process, and you guys are coming in at a cherry on top and totally blowing their socks off because now they're getting a better deal. Well, maybe they got everything on QuickBooks Online, on auto pay. They're paying 3%. It might just come down sometimes to, all right, I'll put you at 2.7, something like that, or the dual pricing. Just one of those. It might just come down to a pricing thing sometimes, when we can't find a feature. That's kind of the only objection typically if someone's actually using QuickBooks and invoicing and everything's really automated and they're doing it pretty well. Well, then they're getting then it's just kind of down to price if there's not too much we can pick apart in their process. What are you guys seeing out there? Any object? You could probably walk into a lot of clunky stuff, but anything you've had to
I do
battle with?
have a suggestion, Hank.
Yeah,
Again, I know recurring invoicing is not the same as recurring billing.
correct.
Are you guys working on that anytime soon?
Well, like, what we're talking about in QuickBooks, they only do sales receipts. In other words, it's just running, it's not actually sending out an invoice or anything. You pick a customer and you're just running it on a recurring auto pay, essentially. What Biller Genie does is we actually create the invoice and set it up for auto pay. So we feel like it's actually best practices. We sending the customer a paid invoice for that particular month and what it looks like, even when it's set up on autopay. So, I don't know what change we would make there. We can do it both ways, but it's not gonna. There's always gonna kind of be an invoice involved for our best practices. But we could take that one off. We could take that one
Yeah, yeah,
offline if there's
cool,
a
man.
specific
I appreciate you.
scenario.
And the
Yeah.
reason I touched this topic is because I'm working with a lady who owns a security alarm system
Okay.
company,
Yep.
and they charge, so depending on their package, if you will, they get charged a monthly billing cycle, if you will. Again,
Hmm.
it could be, set up for 12 months, but depending on the package. So Hank Papali has a $75 in comparison to John Marshall, who has a $55 per month. See what I'm saying?
Yeah. But
But
why can't we set them up one at 55, one at 75?
because it depends on the package you pick. So the 75 will include bells and whistles compared to the 55 one. We can take this off call, and I'll
Yeah.
explain a little bit
Yeah,
more.
yeah, we'll get into more because just to maybe a different point, but we can have let's think about this scenario. Bill or Jean can do this. I have an annual fee for my subscription. But also every month I pay a monthly and I want the monthly to be on auto pay. I want the annual, I want to like look at that invoice and pay it. We can do that. We could, parent, child customer for that one customer. Scenarios like that is really when you get into the weeds. We've got them covered. And if not, if we see it enough, we're going to build the feature if possible. We're going to build it.
Got it. Got it. Cool, cool. Because again, she's a customer of mine, but she's using authorize.net.
Yeah, let's see what we can do. We'll see what we
Yeah.
can do.
So
And if,
That's
maybe, we'll see what we
That's
can do there.
interesting if you think about like local chambers and chambers of commerce where they do have an annual fee and they also have maybe a recurring going on that parent child, which maybe that's worth drilling into a little bit more of what that means to us versus what it means to you.
Yeah, I mean, basically, there's a few different kind of scenarios that can play out like that. But the one I always think of, regardless of the industry, is the same customer gets a monthly fee that I have on autopay, but perhaps that big annual subscription fee, I don't want to have that on autopay. So if we don't separate that customer, if we just toggle on autopay for all, everything is going to get hit up on autopay. So we have a way of separating both of them, having one on autopay and then one, the parent child customer that they want to actually review their bill and make the
Hmm,
payment. Yeah. So we run into those scenarios sometime on some subscription type models there. Hmm.
interesting.
Um,
So guys, we're closing in on the hour. I encourage you to come off mute, ask your questions now while we've got Hank available to us. What other gears are turning out there? What other industries are you guys thinking this could be a great fit for?
I got, if you Google Biller Genie, maybe this is something somehow, if you just Google literally Biller Genie right now, there's over 500 reviews, guys. I think they were up to like 530. They're almost all 5 stars. I think it's 4.8 aggregate. These are real people. They are not bots, right? And I mean that literally, seriously, because there's a lot of that stuff going on there too. These are real people. And usually the only reason we'll get a 1 star is either 5 star or 1 star. They're usually mad at the partner and they find us online and then we take the brunt of it. Like literally the last, I think 1 star we had was 3 months ago. And it's like, well, I don't know if this is the right spot. Like, and these guys might not even be at fault, but my sales rep, that was like our last 1 star. It was like 3 months ago. So, those are real people. If there's anything better to leverage than real experiences, and they're from all walks of life, pool companies, landscapers, you just look through them. You guys can leverage that as well. What are the people saying? Like it's cool to have Hank on a demo and present it. I'm a good sales guy. We're all friends here. But does this thing actually work? The people will tell you. Google Biller Genie. There's some excellent reviews out there.
So I know you were kind of walking around this earlier, but think about some of the competitor solutions that maybe don't work or don't work well, or they don't have great uptime. I mean,
Yeah.
and like what is different about Biller Genie, and how does it set you apart?
Yeah, I
And
think from a service level, well, first of all, we talked about the QuickBooks Desktop, right? I mean, QuickBooks Desktop is in play, a lot of major players. We're like the only game in town, regardless. So we built our own Biller Genie Magic Carpet. That's huge. That's big, especially when you're dealing with that QuickBooks Desktop enterprise, right? I think our personnel, our processes, and our service is second to none. In addition to the actual software itself, and Albert kind of touched on this, and I really appreciated him saying it, from the trainings to the pre-sale demo, and then post-sale, the team that takes it over after that. Guys, this is all we do all day, every day. We talk about QuickBooks, Biller Genie. How do we optimize your accounts receivable process? That's what we do great. And over here, we got subject matter experts on the credit card processing side with our partners. And I forgot to touch on this because we do this interview thing, and I like this format. But if you ever ask a merchant, who do you call if you have an issue with QuickBooks? 9 times out of 10, they'll just give you an eye roll, like, they're not calling the West Coast and QuickBooks Intuit and offshore support or whatever's going on. They're not doing that. That's going to change now. That's the biggest feature. That's sales 101. I am here for you and I'm an expert in payments. And these guys are here for you and they're experts in QuickBooks, Biller Genie, and accounts receivable. And that goes farther probably than any feature that we have. And that's what's going on when your merchants come on board over at Biller Genie. Yep.
That's awesome. So you also have a new certification process, if I'm not
Oh,
mistaken.
yes, guys. So we have if you guys haven't done this, you should check it out. We have the Biller Genie certification course. And essentially it's like 8 or 9 of the videos that we kind of pulled out independently and put them all into kind of like a workflow there. And you can get Biller Genie certified. It's really a deep dive training for you guys into, if you want to take it slow and just go through it, you can, and get Biller Genie certified. I think it's really valuable. We really pushed it more earlier on before we really had the personnel to reach out personally and do a lot of these things, but it still holds up. John, it's good, right, John?
It's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Oh, Chad's back on. You got another one for us?
Yeah, and you might have said this and I just didn't hear it. I did have you guys do a demo for me, and I've got a landscaper that did a bunch of work on my lawn, and kind of the same scenario you said earlier. They sent me an invoice, and I'm looking all over where to pay, and I call them, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we take checks." Like,
Yeah,
and they do like almost $2 million a year in checks.
I know.
So, needless to say, we did a demo with you guys, and they're going to be using you. But what is the threshold that a merchant needs to do where you guys will get on a one-on-one demo, so we don't have to throw them into like a group kind
Yeah,
of?
look, we typically say, and if you go to the partner portal, there's a tab $50,000 or more per month. If you just toggle yes, even if they're not above 50K, you're going to get the one-on-one demo prompt. Okay, so we're looking to fill up the demos. Just you got a $5,000 merchant doing 15 invoices, you probably close that on your own anyway. Just use it when needed. Use it when needed. But we have plenty of demo openings right now, so don't worry about that. But typically it's 50K a month in credit card, ACH, total volume, checks, total volume. So just select yes, even if it's a little below that,
All right,
guys. If you know one-on-one will nail it, let's get a deal. We'll spend 30 minutes to close a deal for sure.
all right, cool. Thank you, sir.
You got it. Got Steven on here. You're looking good, bud. You're looking good, man. Right on. Yeah.
Thanks, brother. In the
Yeah.
field.
Somebody's in the field. I mean, everyone else is snowed in. I mean, gosh, it's cold even here in Florida. So I hope everyone's hanging in there out there. Um, what else we got going on? You guys feel pretty good? Feel pretty good about demos. If you can qualify and close with that 2-minute demo, close it, sign it up. If not, Stephen and Lemuel, if you haven't had that experience with these two, they're sharp. Guys, I wouldn't have handed that off to anybody. I'm possessive of my partners and their demos. And these guys have surpassed me. They're better. They're stars. All right. So get them on a demo and they'll help you close that deal if possible.
So, Hank, one last thing. I know we talked about this before, but I think it's worth mentioning again, is the basic versus the pro account, right? The merchant can actually select to do that without doing a change of
Yeah,
plan.
everyone for the first 30 days is getting charged $24.95 regardless. They have to opt in, click a button, a screen pops up, and they're opting in to premium during that 30-day window if that's what they want to do. Now, typically, pre-sale demo, If I'm looking to close a deal on one of you guys, and I present dual pricing and I present auto pay, and they seem good to go, my guys are not going to start feature dumping premium stuff in a pre-sale demo. If you have a closed sale, they're good to go. No one else interjected a premium feature. Bring them on board, close them. They'll have a 30-day premium trial. Talk to the account managers. They'll present that stuff. Hey guys, do you want this? You can upgrade, right? Like in so many words. However, conversely, if a premium feature comes up in a pre-sale demo or in your conversation, get them on a demo. We're going to try to bring home the value, right? Reminders, customer portal, automating late fees, all that premium stuff. Because if you just say, hey, do you want to pay $69.95 plus 50 basis points? They're going to be like, forget this. Sometimes you got to like show them the stuff. And then they're like, that's why they upgrade 43% of the time. Like they're like, oh, it hits home with them. Oh, I need that customer portal. Right now, I'm fielding all these calls that could just be gone if I just have the customer and showing them this stuff, all their paid invoices. Not to beat the dead horse here with the customer portal, but think about it. My landscaper, my pool guy, like Chad, sends me an invoice every month. It's a guest checkout experience. I got to get a hold of this guy and sign him up. Literally, I do. I can't get a hold of him, right? But it's a guest checkout experience. For years and years, I have historical data. I have nowhere to log in and see all my paid invoices. Some merchants have 5, 10 open invoices at the same time. You need this stuff. Otherwise, somebody in your organization is going to have to field that call. If it's not you, the business owner, you're going to be paying an employee. Oh, can you send me last August, last September's, last January's? I'm submitting a claim. I need those invoices for my roof. Well, people aren't organized. It's in their Yahoo account. Like where am I going to, I can't find it. I got to get it from somewhere. They're going to call that merchant. Now they can just be like, hey, it's all in your customer portal. Appreciate your business. Log in. Have a good day. It's a lot better, having something like that.
Hey,
Well, guys, this is
hey,
go
real
ahead, Brad.
quick question. Sorry.
Yeah.
I've got a couple folks have been texting me and I put it on the groups. Is there any scenario where there is a swiper or an NFC on the app that somebody can take a payment if they've made the invoice real quick?
No, there's no dongle. There's no tap to pay. If we
Perfect.
get that, specifically tap to pay would be the one. We'll make a big deal out of it. We're gonna make a big deal out of it. We'll let you guys know. But
Awesome. Thank you.
there's no way to tap to pay in the field. They can take a payment, but it's gonna be card not present. In a card present environment, guys, we can do the little swiper there, the MagTech swiper. Okay, we can do a MagTech swiper. Or you better know your customer though. It better be like a CPA that knows, every year I'm doing their taxes. They might just roll in to kind of pay their invoice. The MagTech swiper will get you a card present transaction, but you're going to lose every dispute and chargeback, up. So you better, everybody off the street, I wouldn't offer that to them. But if you know their customer base, yeah, we have that MagTech swiper. It's not us, but on Amazon, it's less than $20. So if they want to do a swipe there on that, the little thin black device.
Thank
And maybe
you.
I should segue into this. I will. All right. We can do through just NMI, guys. And I know you guys have an NMI relationship now.
We do.
Okay. Any NMI terminal that you can connect to their gateway. All right. That would be outside of Biller Genie, but you just pick any terminal as long as it's on the NMI universe, so to speak. You can run those transactions, and we now can sync those back with sales receipts to Biller Genie. Now, let's be clear here. This isn't their invoice that we're sending out. This is just if you have a shopping cart, you have a card present terminal on the NMI gateway. It's got to be specific to NMI, that one feature. We can now sync those back to QuickBooks with a sale and create a sales receipt over there associated with the customer. All right. Now, the reason I didn't really bring that up as I was trying to remember. I couldn't remember if you guys expanded out beyond the MX thing. That is, by the way, also a premium feature. I want to point that out. All right. So that's a premium feature if you want to have that. You guys might run into some hybrid models. 70% is card not present, but they kind of have this walk-in traffic as well, 30%. We can now help you guys capture that 30% as well. And if they're already upgraded to premium, it's no big deal, right? But if that's the reason they're upgrading to premium, that might be a tougher sale for you guys. You with me on that? Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, guys, last shot. We're at the top of the hour. Any last questions for Hank? Going once. Going twice.
Thank
And Hank, I'm just going to throw this up while we're still on one last time. Well, I don't want January webinars. I want the February. There they are on your not Biller Genie, excuse me, your Genie app.
Nice.
For February, we've got to line up a couple great Toolbox Tuesdays in store and Coffee with Closers. Hope to see you all there. We're going to be broadcasting from Northeast Acquirers Association next week.
Oh, wow.
Maybe we'll see you up there.
I'll be there. Looking forward to seeing all my Pay Compass friends up there. Thank you guys so much for the
Thank
opportunity
you.
today.
Sounds great.
Thanks, guys.
See you, everybody.
Bye now.
Good stuff. Thanks.